What is up, everybody? Hello. It's been a long time. But yes, this is me. I'm back. It's nice to be back. I know I haven't posted in 8 or 9 months. I'm sorry. I just got a little burnout. Had to deal with some things off the YouTube, off the internet. Had to deal with some things. But the good thing is I'm ready and I'm so happy to be back. And so I'm going to start off my return with the recap of week 1 of college football plus my top 10 after this week. I'm so happy college football is back. I'm so happy Alabama football is back. Roll Tide Roll. Fills me with a lot of joy, and it fills me with joy to make videos again. Before we get started, thank you for clicking on this. If you like this, if you like college football, I ask that you please hit that like button and subscribe at the end of the video. Okay, let's do a little recap of this week before I get into the heavy hitting stuff. One storyline I thought was really interesting was number 20, Washington Huskies. The Washington Huskies, who made the playoffs like 5 years ago, was beat by Montana in FCS unranked Montana 13-7. That has to be disappointing for Washington. Not only that, but Washington paid Montana over $600,000 to play them week 1 because Washington thought it would be an easy game, which it should have been. But Montana pulls off a major upset and beats number 20 Washington. I was really shocked to hear that. Washington has just gone down the drain since that playoff appearance a few years ago. Number 10, North Carolina, was upset by the Hokies, Virginia Tech. Wow, I did not expect this. I was really high on North Carolina myself. I really like Sam Howell. I really like Mac Brown. I'm really surprised that this happened. Sam Howell looked rough. And that's a nice way of putting it. I mean, he threw 3 picks and only put up 10 points. You can't do that. As one of the Heisman favorites going into this season, you just can't do that week 1. As one of the top ranked quarterbacks in this draft class, you just can't do it week 1. But really a shocker there for me because I was high on UNC. Number 12, Wisconsin, was beat by Penn State. I thought Wisconsin would have this in the bag, really. I thought it would be, relatively close. But I did not expect a Penn State upset. Maybe Penn State's better than we thought. Maybe Wisconsin is worse than we thought. I don't know. We really can't make those type of judgments, just based on week 1 alone. But I'm really surprised about that. Penn State has to play Auburn in just a few weeks. I think that'll be a really good game. But, I was shocked. And it was a good game. A defensive battle, 16-10. It was pretty good. And number 16, LSU, was upset by UCLA. I did not expect this. You know how much I hate LSU as an Alabama fan. I do not like LSU. But even I was shocked by this. Even I didn't think UCLA would beat LSU. But they did. LSU's defense looked just as bad as they were last year. And LSU's offense really couldn't put up the numbers they should have. They couldn't put up enough numbers to get the job done. I mean, at this point, when you had a bad season last year, and that's putting it lightly for LSU, a bad season last year where you barely had a winning record, and now you go up And in the first week of the season, you're supposed to be better this year. You're supposed to have more experience. Supposed to bounce back after a bunch of players left. And on that 2019 run, you go out and lose to UCLA. I mean, Coach Orgeron, Coach O, he has to be on the hot seat. Especially if the rest of the season doesn't pan out. He has to be on a hot seat. More and more by the day, he's looking like Gene Chizik. Or one of those other coaches who had a magical year and then fell off and never recreated that. He really looks like that. And with the amount of trash Coach O talks, I mean, before this game, he told UCLA fans to take those sissy blue shirts off. I mean, with the amount of trash he talks, he should be able to back it up. He's on the hot seat for me. Okay, well, that's a recap of just some things that I'm not going to include in my top 10. Let's get right to my top 10 right now. So at number 10, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. They looked really impressive this week. I was high on Indiana. I like Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for Indiana. I thought Indiana was going to be really good this year. And, I mean, Iowa mollywopped them. Iowa went out, beat them 34-6. And they looked really impressive to me. I picked Indiana because I genuinely thought they would win. And Iowa went out there and won, and I had them at number 10. I also will like to say that my honorable mentions, Texas, I think Texas and Iowa can go hand in hand. I'm not going to blame anyone who has Texas at 10 and Iowa at 11. I just have them switched. But, I mean, it could really go either way. And I also want to give an honorable mention to Penn State with an impressive win over Wisconsin, and Oregon, even though they lost their best player, can't pronounce his name on the defense, one of the best draft prospects. I still think they're a pretty solid team. We'll see what they're made of this week. They go against Ohio State. Yeah, but at number 10, Iowa. So, number 9, I have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. If Notre Dame took care of business this week, like they should have, I probably would have had Notre Dame as high as 5 or 6. But Notre Dame went out there and had a struggle win against Florida State. You can make the case that they were up big and they let it come back, but you can't just let it come back like that. And the only reason that Notre Dame even won this game is because Florida State iced their own kicker. I mean, if you didn't watch this game, you should go watch some highlights on YouTube. It was honestly heartbreaking because I really wanted the FSU to pull the upset because they had Mackenzie Milton, who hasn't been on a football field for 2 years. The doctor said he would never play again, and he went out there, lit a spark in the offense, lit a spark that scored 18 points in the fourth quarter, brung it to overtime, and to lose like they did, it was heartbreaking. But Notre Dame wins nonetheless. Can't knock them too much for that, but it was a struggle win. At number 8, I have Florida. Not much to say here. I really don't know what to think of Florida, but they were pretty good last year until they kind of sputtered off at the end. But this year, maybe Emory Jones can get the job done. They won this week over Florida Atlantic 35-14. Nothing really impressive. Nothing really spectacular to mention there. But yeah, I got Florida at 8. It'll be interesting to see how they do against Alabama coming in a few weeks. Especially since Alabama has to go and play Florida at Florida in the swamp. It'll be really interesting. At number 7, I have the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, I know a lot of people are really high on Cincinnati. I've seen people put Cincinnati as high as 4 and 5. I don't think they're that good. To be fair, I do go with Power 5 teams over non-Power 5 teams 9 times out of 10. But sometimes when a team is just this good, you have to put them over other teams. Cincinnati went out this week and looked dominant over Miami of Ohio, winning 49-14. Cincinnati's quarterback, Desmond Ridder, is a not only a dark horse for the Heisman Trophy, I think, but I think he's also one of the best quarterbacks that is going to come out of this draft class. Now, does he play at the non-Power 5 level? Yes. You can't put him... I wouldn't put him up there with Spencer Rattler, Bryce Young, even Sam Howell, even though he played bad this week. I wouldn't put him up there with that. But I still think he's a really good quarterback, and people shouldn't be sleeping on him. But yeah, Cincinnati at 7, they looked great this week. At number 6, I have the Clemson Tigers. The only team on my poll right now that lost this week and still stays in. Clemson made me look like a fool, because before this game, I predicted Clemson to win, and Clemson to win by 10 or more points, by around 2 or more possessions. And Clemson did not get the job done. I mean, I really thought that DJ Ongugale, sorry if I butchered that, would be a Heisman Trophy frontrunner. Maybe not the frontrunner, but he'd be up there in the top 5. And man, he really disappointed me this week. He went out there and looked horrible, putting up only 3 points on offense. I know Georgia's defense is really good, but 3 points? 3 points? And the only touchdown Georgia scored, the only reason Georgia had the lead and won this game was because DJ threw a pick 6, a 74-yarder. I mean, DJ looked awful. He was getting sacked. I think he can bounce back. I think the Tigers can bounce back. And hey, I think we need to give them credit. They held it close. I mean, only 10-3, and those 7 extra points that won Georgia the game come off a pick 6. I mean, if DJ throws that ball earlier or throws it away, this game could have been 3-3 overtime, or it could have gone a different way. It's not like Georgia mollywopped Clemson. Sorry. It's not like Georgia mollywopped Clemson. It was close. This is still really disappointing, though. Clemson doesn't look like they have in past years. I'll give Clemson's defense some credit. They only allowed 3 points on offense to Georgia. Their defense looks good, but man, that Clemson offense could not do anything. It'll be interesting to see how Clemson does the rest of the season. At number 5, I have A&M, Texas A&M, the Aggies. Not much to say about them either. They had a win over Kent State this week, 41-10. They started off slow. I didn't get to watch the game, but I've heard a lot of people say that Texas A&M did not look impressive, and that it was more of like they struggled early and then their talent just pulled away, and that they weren't looked good as they should be. But hey, a win is a win, and I still think A&M's one of the best teams in the nation. I like A&M's quarterback, Haynes King. I think he's pretty good. But yeah, not much to say. I have the Aggies at 5. We'll see what they're truly made of when they go play Alabama in a few weeks. At number 4, this is really tough, and it could go either way. 4 and 3 could be swapped. But at number 4, I'm putting the Ohio State Buckeyes. They went this week. They had a struggle win versus Minnesota, which was kept close all night. And it was more of Ohio State didn't win this game, more of Minnesota lost it. And Minnesota's mistakes added up. Now, I'm not going to hold it against Ohio State too harshly. I mean, I think Minnesota is one of the most underrated teams in the nation. And I think they're really good. They had to go play at Minnesota. Minnesota had Mo Ibrahim, who sadly broke his Achilles and will be out for the rest of the season. But man, he is a good player. And if you haven't watched him or don't know about him, he is a great player, and you should definitely go watch him. But yeah, 45-31. They looked impressive. CJ Stroud impressed me. Chris Olave looks just as good as people are hyping him up to be. I think Ohio State's a pretty good team. And number 3, I have Oklahoma. Like I said, Oklahoma and Ohio State can be switched. Only reason I put Oklahoma higher is because they won this game 40-35 against unranked Tulane. That's bad. They shouldn't have done that. It shouldn't have been close at all. However, Oklahoma was up by 20 plus points in the second quarter or something like that. And I think they just put their leg off the gas, put their foot off the gas. They let their guard down. But really, it could go either way, Oklahoma, Ohio State. I wouldn't be too mad at anyone for switching those. But I have Oklahoma at 3. Spencer Rattler did not look too good this week. Not as impressive as he should have been. He threw some picks. But maybe it's just week 1 jitters. I have no idea. It's only week 1. Anyways, number 2, I have the Georgia Bulldogs with one of the most impressive performances this week, along with Iowa. They beat Clemson 10-3. That Georgia defense, man, that was an insane performance. Maybe Clemson's offense is not what we hyped them up to be, but I really think it was just that Georgia defense. I mean, the way they would get in the backfield and the way they would sack the quarterback and get pressure was absolutely insane. I mean, they held Clemson to only 2 rushing yards. I know Clemson lost Etienne, and Etienne was amazing, but 2 rushing yards for a top 10 team, that's absolutely insane. That Georgia defense is nasty. Georgia's offense is going to have to figure out something, though. They're going to have to figure out something. Because on offense, they only put up 3 points. Defense scored more than offense. Defense had 7 points on a pick 6. Offense had only 3 points. They're going to have to figure out something. JT Daniels looked extremely disappointing to me. He did not look good, but I think Georgia will be a team that grows over the season, develops a good offense, keeps the stride going with their defense. But yeah, right now they got to work out some kinks on the offense, really. But man, that defense looks amazing. And that defense can go toe-to-toe with maybe any offense in college football, except for number 1. At number 1, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide, the defending national champions. Roll, Tide, roll, baby. This week, they took a W over the number 14 Miami Hurricanes, 44-13. Maybe Miami isn't what we hyped them up to be. I still think Miami's a pretty solid opponent. I mean, Alabama went out there and crushed them. The scoreboard didn't tell the whole story. I mean, going into halftime, it was 27-3, and that 3 came off the last drive. I mean, Alabama crushed them. Almost said Mac Jones. Bryce Young looked incredible. I mean, over 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, with over a 70% completion percentage. That's impressive. Alabama's rushing game looked pretty good also. Brian Robinson. I'm glad Trey Sanders got some playing time. The receivers look great. John Mechie, Jamison Williams, Cameron Matu at tight end, filling in for Billingsley. He also looked great. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it looks like Alabama has not skipped a beat from last year. You know, a lot of people think that Alabama was going to have some sort of decline from last year. I mean, we lost a first-round NFL quarterback who's going to start week 1. We lost the best running back in the draft, a first-round running back. We lost 2 receivers who went in the first round, 2 top 15 pick receivers. The Heisman winner is one of those receivers, one of the best, and if I dare say, the best wide receiver in college football history, Devontae Smith. We lost him. And we lost a lot of other pieces. A lot of people thought Alabama was going to take a step down. A big step down. But man, Alabama went out there and showed them that Alabama reloads. Nick Saban proved, well, he doesn't have much to prove, but he proves he reloads once again. Only thing I would say Alabama did even slightly wrong is I think our offensive line could really work out some kinks. I think there was a lot of pressure on Bryce Young. But I'm sure that can get fixed out within time. And that's just from the eye tests. And I'm not a person who knows X's and O's. That could have been something else. But man, Alabama is alone at the top. And this is not me as an Alabama fan saying this. This is me as an objective college football watcher. Also Alabama fan, but an objective college football watcher. Alabama is still at the top. And nobody is even coming close so far. That's a big word, so far. Based on week 1 performances, no one is coming close to Alabama. Georgia, offense can't do anything. Oklahoma kept it close with Tulane. Ohio State kept it close with Minnesota. Clemson lost to Georgia. I mean, when you look at Alabama's top competition versus what they did this week, Alabama's sitting alone at the top. I mean, I hate to give... Or actually, I love to. I don't want to say hate. I love to give this praise to Alabama. And it may seem like I'm giving too much praise. But that's simply the fact of the matter. Is that Alabama is still at the top for right now. Now, I think teams like Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Clemson, and teams like that, even A&M, will progress down the road and get better as we go along. And I think by the time Alabama and Georgia maybe play, Alabama and maybe Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oklahoma and Florida even, Alabama and Florida even, I think those teams will be immensely better and those will be close games. I'm not saying Alabama's just going to cruise to a national championship. But I'm saying as of now, week 1, Alabama's alone at the top. But like I said many times in this video, it's week 1. It is only week 1. We cannot judge too much. But hey, that's my top 10. I'm just glad college football's back. I am so glad college football's back. And it's glad to be back. Thank you for everyone who was commenting, asking where I've been and kept up and wished me good times during this extremely long hibernation. I appreciate it so much. It makes me so happy to know that there's people that genuinely care about my opinions, even though I'm just some stupid 15-year-old kid who been watching football for a couple years. It still fills me with a lot of joy to know people really want to hear my opinions and take them seriously. And hey, maybe this is the year we can get to 1,000 subscribers. I've been stuck at 750 for so long. That's because I haven't uploaded. But maybe. But I'm not even focused on that even anymore. I'm just focused on making my videos better, making my upload schedule better, and making my subscribers happier. That's what I'm focused on. And it's glad to be back. And if you're still watching at this point in the video, like 25 minutes in, thank you so much, because you obviously care about my opinion so much to watch a 25-minute video of me ramble on at 12 o'clock at night. But seriously, thank you. I know the intro and the outro to this video is extremely long, and I really could have cut it short and made this video 15, 20 to 20 minutes. But I haven't posted in so long that I just wanted to say I'm glad to be back and to thank you to everybody. But I gotta cut the video off before I make this an hour-long video. Yeah, but college football back. College football's back. I'm back. I'm gonna be uploading Heisman Watch tomorrow if everything goes to plan. I should be uploading Heisman Watch and then my predictions for week 2. But yeah, college football back. College football's back. I'm back. I'm so happy. But it's finally time to wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for more college football content. I make predictions, rants, all type of stuff. And I also make highlights during the off season when I'm active. When I'm active. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.